Hello everybody and welcome back to a new money making series, one where we're taking 4 accounts and forcing them all the way up to have the requirements of a specific money making task. All of these accounts were made quite some time ago and they have a bunch of different stats and quests done on them. So I wanted to frame a reference from the beginning, and that's where our white account comes in. Dang it, Bobby. Dang it, Bobby is going to be earning the requirements to be able to do a specific task every single episode, and if the other accounts don't have those requirements, they're going to be forced to do it as well. All of the accounts will have to do the task at the end of the episode, and today our task is going to be Forestry. Starting it off with a collection log slot for everybody, and I figured this would start a discussion. There's a few endpoints for some of these forestry events, like the beehive itself. Once I get 10 beehive parts, I'm definitely not going to do this anymore. And when I'm woodcutting alone with all of my accounts, it takes an entire inventory of logs to get 1 beehive part. And that's just not worth it for me, because we're doing this for profit. And you're also going to notice that we're going to knock out a couple of things that are really novice, but not necessarily requirements for the grind that we're kind of trying to do for forestry, like Alfred Grimhand's bark crawl. I want to smash my bottles while I go temple trekking, and that's one thing to knock out of the way. Every time I knock out a quest or something simple, I always try to go back to woodcutting as the default for all of the accounts. And another handy thing about that is, we find the events we're able to do for all of the accounts, like the poachers or the druidic ritual. Those are the best for multi-logging. Dang it, Bobby's pulling in with 70 woodcutting, and you might notice that he started with some woodcutting levels. This is going to be the only grind that he's had a head start on, which is why we're knocking it out right away. We're able to knock out some things like biohazard on 3 separate accounts. Here's something I absolutely had to rectify. Dang it, Bobby had a quest done that the other 2 didn't, and that's Client of Corrend done and over with. So when we're talking about doing a task for cash like forestry, we need to do it as efficiently as possible. So we need to earn the rabbit's foot necklace to give us a better drop rate for birds' nests. But that also requires getting 21 hunter on 3 separate accounts. Well, that grind did take a little bit longer than I thought because we actually needed 24 hunter to be able to get the rabbit's foot amulet. But we just unlocked a whole new tier of birdhouse too, so maybe birdhouse runs are in the future. Now we need to knock out priest in peril, so that way we are able to access Mortania. We also need to complete the nature's spirit just to be able to get into Berg de Rot. We need both of the quests in search of and in aid of the Marquis. So our second divergence for our accounts on the episode is going to be the agility grind. Dang it, Bobby really needs to get 25 agility to be able to start in search of the Marquis. 25 crafting was also on that list, so we banged that one out with all of the gems we got last episode. And then dang it, Bobby finally catching his ass up with in search of the Marquis. To make things a little bit easier for myself while temple trekking, we're going to do Death Plateau, Dwarf Cannon, that's a grind for later. And another beginner quest we needed to get out of the way because we need the levels to kill some of these monsters coming up. And one more thing that we need to knock out of the way is going to be 43 prayer. It's honestly super cheap nowadays, and you really only need to spend about 20 minutes in the wilderness to do it, so I'd say it's worth it. With this final quest, we're finally able to start temple trekking on all 3 accounts. And in the meantime, my main account, Dirty Bobby, has been sitting here chopping wood, all the way up to 97 woodcutting. And I figured I'd show you guys what it's like to temple trek on 3 separate accounts. I start one off on the right direction, and then I set up the other 2. I want to make sure to pay attention as much as I can, because you could just end up getting thrown away into an area that you just have to fight over and over. There are a whole bunch of different ending points for temple trekking, and a lot of these things, like you might see over in the corner, are just a dead end, so you're gonna leave when you get there. But if you do actually end up getting the thing that you're looking for, and you didn't get the lumberjack outfit, there's actually a super simple way to fix that. Just wait around until you get it in the exact same spot. The zombies keep spawning, but you can only get 1 lumberjack outfit piece at a time. And we're pulling in with yet another lumberjack top. Ooh, and here's the first lumberjack legs. Dang it, Bobby is pulling in the lead. And that's our third and final lumberjack top. So I don't want to bore you with every single piece drop of the lumberjack outfit. But we are getting a bunch of vouchers when we finish our runs, and I figure we should just spend those on XP tone. I don't really want any money at the end to throw off just the woodcutting money, so experience it is. We are going to let you guys know when we got the first full outfit. Dang it, Bobby was in the lead there for a short time, but he's got 3 out of 4 and everybody else is done. Fortunately though, we do have a bunch of experienced homes to knock out of the way, and let's go ahead and take a look at those levels. Finally snagging the last piece of the lumberjack outfit on Dang It Bobby. Somehow pulling up the rear as always. So we got ourselves the outfit, we got ourselves the rabbit foot necklace, and now we need to get one more thing, and that's gonna be the Twitcher's gloves. These bad boys are gonna make sure that we get birds' nests more often, and we can even pick which bird nests we want more often. And you know, when you got the anima for it, peak efficiency really does mean getting the log basket too. This is a nice little treat. Dang it, Bobby just got the petal garland from the Druid event. It would have been nice to have that on my main account, but you know what, I'll take it on any of them. There we go, there's a unique on Dirty Bob. We've got the fox whistle. But no beaver. And I truly do mean peak efficiency here, so log basket on all of the accounts needs to be purchased before we start the timer. And now I'd say we're ready to take on this challenge. Real quick though, I do want to say, if you actually want to make some real money while you're here cutting some trees, you should probably pick up all of the other logs that everyone else is dropping. There's so many of them, and you could probably just pick up logs. You might not even need an axe. But I'm actually here to determine how much money you can make chopping the trees and getting the anima. So unfortunately I won't be picking up all of these logs, but you totally should if you want some money. So this is what we're working with. We got the full lumberjack's outfit, Twitcher's gloves, and rabbit's foot necklace. I've got a dragon axe on all of the accounts, but only my main can actually wield it, and the log basket. Let's go chop some wood. And if you do want any frame of reference for how long I've been preparing to get everybody here to chop some wood, Dirty Bobby just got level 98 woodcutting. So we went from 97 to 98 in the time that I got these 3 ready. That was close, I almost forgot, but this is one very important thing about this grind as well. We need a bunch of shears, and I'm actually going to supply 1,000 iron shears for each of the accounts just to see how many we use at the end. It's probably an overestimation of how many you really need, but these cost a little bit of money and some anima too. There's actually one more event that I can do on all 4 accounts, and that's roots. Roots are always going to be the best event that you can do for forestry. It's just a massive intake of anima. And we're really working our way through the ranks. Dang it, Bobby has worked his way all the way up to 79 woodcutting. And while we're getting going, we should probably talk about a couple of the events that I can't really do on all 4 accounts, at the very least not efficiently. So there's the sapling, ents, pheasants, beehive, and even the flowering book. We're going to talk about the anima calculations at the end, but for the most part, I'm going to be earning anima on 1 account, so I should probably just times it by 4 on the 1 instead of adding them all together. This will definitely be the last level up of the episode, level 80 for Dang It Bobby. But you know what, that's a good milestone to leave it off on. We've got 1 hour left, and I feel like I should probably give you guys a little check-in in the bank just to see what everything's looking like. So let's take a look. We're at 55.26, getting real close. Basically the last hour check-in. We've got just under 2,500 logs in there. And if you go ahead and take the logs cut per hour, you can probably guess how many we're going to end with on 1 account for the 50 hours. And that's the time, everybody. Now let's go get a good bank check. On each of the accounts, we've got at least 2,500 logs. But you know what? I could go through all 4 inventories if I really wanted to, but you guys are here to see all of them put together. So, all together, we've got 10,557 logs from our 50 hours of woodcutting. 65 nests. Yellow leaves were 4,892, and we also got 277 pheasant tails. There's also 5 colored eggs. It is for just the 50 hours. Let's talk about everything in our inventory.
But before we do that, we need to address the pheasant in the room. We made the pheasant outfit, so that's 60 pheasant feathers down right there. But if you didn't make the pheasant outfit, you could turn all of your pheasant feathers in for anima, so it's always going to be worth it to do this forestry event. And we're even able to pull in 1,785 anima from all of our leftover pheasant feathers. Opening all of these egg nests is a small dose of carpal tunnel, but it's necessary for the final price check. And with all this stuff in our inventory, we're finally able to do the math. We've got 38,931 logs, well over 206 bird nests, 16,336 yellow leaves, with 357 pheasant tails collected altogether, 48 beehive parts, as well as 13 colored eggs, 2 fox whistles, 1 petal garland, and 3 spirit seeds. But let's go in for the price check. That's what you guys are really here to see. Everything altogether is 11,793,144. Most of this is actually just coming from the logs and nests. Actually, you know what? Here, I'll show you. Throw the logs in there, just the nests. Yeah, 11,565. It's basically the same with everything else in it. So for this grind, seeds might not be worth picking up. But as some of you may know, that's not the only price check we need to worry about. We have a bunch of leaves that we've earned from this grind, and each one of these leaves can be turned into a forestry ration. It's not necessarily worth it for us to use sharks at the moment, but bass is where it's at. If we use 1 bass for each one of our leaves, we're able to make 326,720 forestry rations. They would all sell for 13,068,800. We also have to minus the cost of the bass, so that would actually leave us with about 10,455,000. Taking the total profit all the way up to 22,236,000. As well as our gold per hour, that's 125,500 gold. Experience per hour in an average for all 4 accounts was 44,250, and our logs per hour ended up being 220. And so what does all of that mean? In this episode, we've been playing for over 177 hours, simply just woodcutting. And that's efficient play, which I tell you, I'm not very efficient. So you can add a couple hours to that. And now let's talk about the anima. I can't necessarily give you an accurate rendition of how much you would be able to make during the 50 hours or the 177 hours, because I lost track of my sticky note that had all of those calculations on it. I do want to say maybe you could times this 18,000 by 4 for the 177 hours, but you might have to check the wiki for that. But to answer the question, what are you going to spend the anima on, if any of you care? I'm totally going to be buying the forestry outfit. We got to make ourselves look a lot better, and it's a collection log slot to knock right out of there. There was also more than enough anima to make ourselves the felling axe. That's another collection log slot knocked out of there, and it's only really worth it to make the dragon felling axe. And we were able to squeak by with just enough anima to buy the cape pouch in preparation for level 99 woodcutting. I don't have it just yet, but coming soon. And that brings us to the end of the video, everybody. For any of those who want to check out the stats of the 4 accounts and maybe suggest some money-making endeavors in the future, throw it down in the comments. I'd love to hear it. But until next time, don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe, and I'll see you all later.